Ooh.
Yeah, that's why that boy got that.
Got the beanie on.
Hey, bro.
Hey, y'all ain't much seen your barber. Beard dyed, haircut.
The barber texted me and said he quit barbering, bro. He been my barber for 3 years. Like, how you don't say nothing? We've been friends for 3 years.
He didn't give you no 2-week notice?
I ain't got a debt. The last time I seen him was October 5th. It's in my phone.
He heard that you.
I've been trying to get a appointment for the last week. I get a haircut every 10 days.
Yeah, no, you
go
saw
to the same
it.
barber
Barber,
you
he
been
heard
doing?
about it.
Bruh, it's sad.
Y'all go to the same barber?
Nah,
we don't go to the same barber.
bro.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, he heard you went to a different barber and was like, "Yeah, I don't cut you no more."
That
That's
barber
tough,
relationship is a real relationship, bro. He hurt me.
Shout out to my barber, Pee Wee.
He hurt me.
Shout out to Pee Wee. I got this hat on because I ain't got my hair cut. I'm gonna get my hair cut tomorrow.
You ain't got your
Hey,
haircut.
Yeah,
You
who
ain't
hurt
got-
you? The barber. That's who hurt me, damn it.
Hey, well, you know what? That's too bad for both of y'all. You can't stop the rain. Raindrops don't fall. That's what you should have told the barber.
Yes. What's the word, fellas? Good to see everybody today, man. How you brothers doing?
Looking like a burglar right now.
We doing
Breaking and
good.
entering.
Bro, you do look like you do look like a criminal.
I'm breaking and entering, man.
Good. Hey, good job. You live on the right side of town.
Exactly.
You live on another side of town. They may try to call the police on you when you go get your
Very
mail.
true.
Yeah.
Very true. I need to switch my hats. There, man. I'm switching hats.
You don't switch that. You're back, man. Bro.
I like the beanie better. Go with the beanie. Go with the beanie.
Go with the beanie, bro.
That's funny, man. But check in, man. Everybody smooth, man. Y'all good. Everything's good. Family's good. You know, chickens is good. Everything good.
Everything
so
good.
far, so
you
good.
Know what? Everything good, man. You know what? Last week I said, last time we was here, I said I was whooping people ass for saying the N-word. I'm not gonna do that, bro. I gotta apologize. If anybody mess with me, I'm gonna let it go. But if y'all hear me walk up on somebody, you can't stop the rain. Come get me, man. That mean I might be trying to go and catch 25 to life, man. Y'all know y'all watching BMF, man. Y'all got
that's the catch motto. That's the catch motto.
Bro, crazy, dude.
I'm not doing
crazy.
no more talking. So when you come to my crime scene and they be like, "Can I get a statement?" What'd you hear him say? He just said, "You can't stop," and then chitty bang bang all out in the street.
Hey, people gonna remove my black card because the only episode that I've seen of the show was that part right there. My wife was watching it, so I was like, "What's this?"
I only seen episode 2.
Yeah, I ain't seen it, man.
The music caught him.
Look, I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm and freaking Succession.
Hey, Succession, that's one I want to watch. That's good.
Succession go crazy.
Yeah,
I ain't seen that yet. Curb, Larry the Man. I'm still watching that Wu-Tang. I'm behind all the shows.
And I'm gonna tell y'all this other show I've been watching. Y'all gonna laugh at me. Ted Lasso.
I seen Ted already.
Yeah, it is funny. Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Ted funny.
Well, it seems like a lot of our people have been out here watching that Red Table Talk and snippets of the Jada and Will Part 2.
Hey, man,
there's a lot of different.
They always give us something to talk about, right?
Is it click? Is that real or is that clickbait? Like, what is that?
Man, I think it's a little bit of clickbait and real. You know, it depends on how much you want to jump into their bedroom shenanigans and then how much they're really letting you in. So, I mean, overall.
But do I really want to know that? Like, I don't actually like what y'all doing. That's weird.
I mean, for the most part, yeah. For overall, you know, she said some clickbait type of comment like, "Hey, Will and I's sex life is a little different." Bam. And then if you listen to it in detail, she's really just saying, you know, when we got together, we were 22 years old and we were just vibing off of love. And if I love you, then you should automatically know what my needs are, which is not realistic. So she said it's something they had to learn over time. And then, come to find out, Will said something close to the same topics earlier in their relationship. He was like, hey, when I got with her, I was fresh in the game, starting to make real money. And I thought, she would automatically know my needs. We had to figure it out. And eventually we did. So good clickbait. And then it just led to more conversation. But I think it comes down to how much do you really want to tell people to either get them intrigued about your bedroom life or, you just want to create buzz. So
I think that's all that's all made for TV. I know they celebrities and they've been on TV and they got their red table talk where they supposed to keep it real, but I don't care about what Real and Jada doing that thing in their room. It's like I ain't about to ask y'all what y'all wives is doing, bro. That's y'all wife. I want to know what y'all wives is doing, bro. That's weird. And don't ask me about mine because I ain't telling you. So that's weird. But I think it's clickbait. I think there is some honesty to it in regards to like, okay, getting my needs met by my partner. But I mean, that could be multiple. That could be a multitude of things in regards to intimacy, not just sex. So I don't know if she was just meant just sex or intimacy or what. But it seemed like we don't need to know all that. That seemed like it was kind of too much for TV. But
There you go.
Like he got lost in the sauce. Got lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think that it comes down to words getting twisted when you say things and stuff like that, and that's why you can't really tell everybody all your business, right? Because now it's all up for interpretation. Now people have made a whole bunch of assumptions about something they really, really don't know nothing about. Like we don't know exactly what she meant, what she was trying to say, and then the whole world paraphrased it and turned it into something nasty. And that's the problem. Nobody really knows what they were trying to talk about or what was going on in their bedroom. But now we got a million opinions out there about what it is or what it's not.
But that's what I was saying. Was she talking about intimacy or was she talking about sex in general? That's two different things.
Time out. Where Taff at?
Taff is in the office.
He on vacation.
Wait, why did he make that face?
Well, because first of all, we know I could be somewhere. I could be somewhere in my house now. People don't need to know when I'm home or not. You never know when an intruder might try to come through.
I'm coming through.
You can't stop that rain.
I'm a burglar.
Hey, now we talking about people talking about their bedrooms. Hell, where Taff at? Right?
How you know this ain't my bedroom? You been in my bedroom before, man? You been in my bedroom? How you know what my bedroom is?
What are you talking about?
How you know what my bedroom is?
You know how we know? You know how we know what your bedroom is like? Because you're the only fool that answers your FaceTime laying in the bed with your chest hairs out talking about, hey, what we doing today, y'all? Why you laying in the bed? So we done all seen your bed, fool, because you be FaceTiming people while you laying in the bed.
That's a man law.
You know that's a man law.
I've been busy working, and every time I get busy doing something in life and y'all don't see me or hear from me, y'all start picking on me and shit like y'all need this type of interaction for y'all personal life. Leave me alone, man. Leave me alone.
I just asked a question. You know what I'm saying?
I'm doing work I'm at a conference doing some other shit. I'm important in a lot of fucking places, okay? Not just here with y'all. I'm the star every fucking where I am, all right?
I've got a point to prove now. I'm in these streets.
P, I interrupted you. Was about to say something, bro. My bad.
Oh no, I was gonna say I was gonna piggyback off of what Jeff was saying. Is like, they're enticing you to ask more questions about what is really going on in your bedroom, and then let's make it a conversation about you. So I think they do a wonderful job, in getting people to, inquire about their relationship. But does that really transition to reality? You know what I'm saying? Like, as men, do we really want people to inquire about what we do in the bedroom and how my spouse and I overcome obstacles? Like, is that something anybody really, really wants?
No.
Guess not.
You see how Will out here, everybody they like, damn, I feel bad for Will. Will out here looking crazy. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Right, but then at the same time, he said something close to that before, and it just never became as important. Like, they really didn't give it much attention. But now that they have a different platform, it becomes, front page news.
Again, that's what I'm saying. That's why I felt like it was clickbaity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't the topic when she said she had an entanglement with August, whatever cuz name is. She didn't say that Will wasn't meeting her needs. She just said she was dealing with old buddy. So was this more clickbait or was this her being open? Like, maybe that's why I had that situation with old cuz, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
And let's start poking the bear a little bit about what they actually talking about. They what? 45 plus?
They're probably like close to 50.
Close to 50.
Yeah.
They've been rocking for over
24 years.
3 years.
I mean, 95, 96 is when they started.
Okay, so there's a high probability that they needed to spice up some shit, reinvent some shit, do some shit different. I mean, nobody is sitting in missionary for no 15, 20 years. Nobody. Let's just be straight up honest. That's going to get really, really, really boring. I don't need to know into detail what you like or what you don't like, but I can guarantee you that nobody, whether you're telling people or not, is sitting in the missionary position for 20 or 15 years. It's just not happening. So what she was talking about was relevant. The content of what she was saying, though, was it misinterpreted? I think that's our question. Or is she giving too much information, right? Like, you can go through periods of time where somebody in a relationship is not performing well or something like that. Is that content that you want out, or is that something that you know what I'm saying, work through? Like, what information is off the table? Everybody ain't bringing an Iron Man game every night, all night for 20 years long. So did she say the things that she shouldn't have said, or did she say something that we just as society took and blew out of proportion?
I think the question that we got to consider, though, is maybe we're uncomfortable because they're talking about their relationship in public. But the reality is, like Jeff said, he's not going to talk about his bedroom to anyone else. Now, we also know some of us don't mind having those conversations. I think it's really about, what do you gain from it? Because I do think there's things that you can learn by communicating about your relationship. Like, it's more so like, do you have those conversations in safe spaces, or do you have those conversations publicly? I don't know if, it's the best to have those conversations publicly, but I do think having those conversations in safe spaces, and maybe being on the table talk or wherever, is a safe space, because that's the space that they created for safe conversations, right? So if they have those conversations there, then that's the space they created for safe conversations. So, I mean, you got to have it. You can't grow if you don't know, right? And if, let's just say for Jada, right, maybe by her having those conversations, she realized other women are having the same problem. So then she realized, oh, this is not isolated to my bedroom. But because I was open about it, I realized this is a normal thing that couples interact with. Because we know how people get in their mind. They assume that their problem, and they're the only ones dealing with that problem. But when you have it out loud, you start to realize, even as us as men, do we have conversations, not with the public, but with our spouses, our wives, about what our needs are, and if our needs are getting met, and how they can get met, right? And I think there's that thing when you talk about, so many people are uncomfortable with the sex conversation. We are made to feel uncomfortable when they talk about it, but they seem to be comfortable. So why are we uncomfortable when they comfortable talking about their life and their relationship?
So what about this too? What if, like, I'm thinking of like Angela Yee in Lip Service, right? Predominantly, there are people that are going on there that are single that are talking about all types of wild shit they getting into and what they doing, right? And then there's no real scrutiny for that, right? And I mean, what is that? Hoe face, single talk, hoe talk. I mean, there's a lot of different areas that the society could label that. I'm not saying that they're that. I'm just saying what it could be labeled as. But to your point, when a couple gets on TV and has these conversations, then it's picked apart. And why not? If we're trying to promote couples and sex lives and things like that, I mean, is it only relevant when single people are doing it? Or are we assuming that single people are having more sex than people in relationships are, or couples are? And why can't couples have those conversations? Or is it only relevant because single people have the luxury of being able to jump around from partner to partner? So it's expected that they're going to talk about that stuff. Like, how come couples can't have these same areas in which these conversations can be had? I just think in the situation of Will and Jada, they just got so much shit out there that it's always going to get interpreted the wrong way, right? Because if Candy and her husband get on TV talking about it, is it going to go, or are we going to look at it the same way as when Will and Jada talk about it? And they talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like maybe they're in a spot where people are always going to pick at them and bully their relationship.
I mean, yeah, because when you're single, it's just you. But now that they're married and they're talking about this, it's kind of like attacking what's the structure of marriage. You know what I'm saying? And people have their own perception of what marriage is supposed to be. So when you have a couple who's speaking on, oh, we do this and we're open and this happens and this is our conversation, then it becomes, well, how important is marriage? And so now people start to poke at it because they know you're married. Whereas when you're single, I'm single. I'm not accountable to anybody. So I think that's why, and it's a societal thing. People start to interpret what marriage is supposed to be like, and that's why I think this becomes a hot topic.
Well, but if you're single, you probably your whole sex talking, this shit that you're doing, and I'm just calling a spade a spade. I don't care what come out of it. You hoeing. Most of the time when you're single, you out there hoeing. You're out there dating, sexing multiple people and things like that, right? And you're talking about these experiences in your table of experience through these random or companion sex buddies that you have.
But you're not tied to anybody. You're just single doing it.
You're not tied to anybody doing it, right? But what are we putting on the hierarchy level now? The single people that get to go and do it, or the married people that are talking about just the ups and downs they face with one partner? Because I guarantee you, if you stack up,
it's healthy though. I think it's healthy when married couples are willing to talk about their relationship, right? Like, I think, right, there's degrees of it. There's levels to this, right? Like, obviously, talking to your relationship to the wrong people, like, it's like you're married and you're going to go get advice from somebody who's single. Yeah, they may have some useful advice, but they can't give you the advice that you may need in your marriage because they're not married. Unless they were previously married, then they can give you some advice. I think the problem is that we've been conditioned that when we tell our business, that can open up the door for people to come into our bedroom, right? And I also think when we keep people quiet and not talking about their relationships out loud, that breeds a ground for manipulation, abuse, things of that nature, where people, you don't know what's going on because no one's willing to talk about their relationships. It just so happened that Will and Jada talk about their relationship. They talk about the ups and downs. They don't just talk about sex. They talk about everything. They talk about co-parenting. They talk about blended families. They talk about dealing with, Will's ex-wife. They talk about their relationship, and they've been together 25 plus years. So all the people who are questioning, like, what they're doing, they're still married.
Yeah.
Right. They're still married, and they seem to be a couple who is working together and happy enough, right? So you have people who are critiquing what they're saying, one, who are single, two, who ain't been married nearly as long as they have been. Like, people are trying to get like Will and Jada. So to me, a lot of it is jealousy, or at least envy, that, oh, well, we're going to critique them because they're doing this. Well, honestly, if they can have conversations with the world about their relationship, I can imagine they have a lot of conversations with each other about what their needs are, what's happening, what's not happening, instead of engaging in, a lot of us are in covert contracts in our relationships where your spouse has expectations of you that they never communicate to you, and you're being held to those expectations, but you don't know what they are.
You don't even know it.
At least with these people, we can at least say, hey, we hope that because they're willing to talk with the world about their problems, they are actively having conversations with each other, which allows them to fix the problems, which allows them to stay together. So I think we should get like a little more like Will and Jada, where we're not afraid to openly have conversations with our relationship, so then we can grow,
Yeah, I think what's the thing, what the one I'm talking about is like single people or people that's never been married, put marriage on a pedestal. So when somebody says something negative about their relationship, nope, that's why I ain't doing it. Told you. They got problems all the time. Nah, I ain't getting married. He ain't even hitting that thing right. Or she ain't even doing this right. So it's always like they're gonna pick that one thing that's gonna make it be like, that's why I'm not gonna do it. Or you know what I'm saying? Like a reason for them not to want to do the work. Because we always say marriage is a thing that you got to work at. Because what happens is you're really working on yourself, and your partner's an enhancement of the two. But I think that's the problem. Like single people or people that's never been married before put marriage on a pedestal and they think it's like a fairy tale or something, and it's not. So that's kind of that's kind of where they are. So like Will and Jada do be putting it out there. This one I felt was a little, she didn't say nothing too ratchet. I think people made it seem like Will was like just not dropping it off, but I don't know.
I mean, at one point, Will said something close to what you said, and some people took that the wrong way. He was like, it's not the responsibility of Jada to make me happy. It's my responsibility to make myself happy. and it's her responsibility
So he on his
to
meat.
find her.
He on his meat.
Yeah, but nah, that don't mean he.
Wait,
We don't know.
So he said it's his wait, this is what he said. It's his responsibility to make himself happy, her responsibility to make herself happy, but at the same time, they're supposed to join each other together to contribute to each other's happiness. I don't know how you take that. But
that shit, you know, I know how to take that. That means to each his own, man. That shit don't work in everybody else's household. Just like that shit they be doing don't work in everybody else's household. If you want to talk about that shit, talk about it. If you don't want to talk about sex, don't talk about it. But be sure that you need to be talking about it with your partner, because you know who does it right. Shout out to them people over there at I Am Athlete and I Am Woman. Shannon and his wife always be talking about shit, and they go up on both shows about those type of things. So it can be a conversation that happens, and it can be done in a tasteful way at the right time in the right place, right? Like,
but listen,
who's okay?
It doesn't even have to be tasteful. It just has to work for you and your partner, right? Like you remember when Shannon was talking about hey kitty,
hey kitty,
right?
Yeah.
He knew he could have that conversation, and it wasn't going to make his wife embarrassed.
Right? He sit on the couch or the porch drinking the milk out the bowl. And
Wild, wild, right? So, but what happens is sex conversations in relationships has been so taboo because, again, marriage is this sacred thing that you're supposed to keep within the confines of your home. And I understand that to a certain degree. I understand that. But hell, when people come to talk to me or Jeff as therapists, they're talking about their bedroom and their personal lives and their problems.
They tired of getting that ham sandwich in a brown lunch bag and doing missionary for 15 years. You can't do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's so taboo. But then if people are not comfortable, if people are uncomfortable talking about their sex life and their relationship, then that means they're probably uncomfortable talking about it with their spouse, which also means their spouse is probably not meeting their needs because their spouse doesn't know what their needs are. You know what I'm saying? So to me,
and
that's
then those
things divorce, right? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, then those things that creep in, like, oh, Kirk Franklin, you watch too much porn. Well, did he really ever talk to his wife about what kind of sexual activity he wanted? And now he's like, I'm addicted to porn. But did you ever really talk to your wife before getting to that level? There's a lot of different things that's not said that then contributes to. Well, yeah, but what's his freakiness? I'm piggybacking off what Dewan said. Is this freakiness, or is it that he just found a avenue because he didn't have no way to connect with his spouse?
Nah, Fred,
he was supposed to.
We're talking about people who put out their sexual stuff. I'm just giving a perspective on that.
He was supposed to smack it and flip it and rub it in. He forgot, man. He know what to do.
Nah, bro. He was a freaky preach, bro. He was a freaky preach. He should have been in there. He was a freaky preach, bro. And he should have told her that. Everybody want to get on R. Kelly about them songs. Make me clap my hands, make me want to stomp my feet. He likes some shit he just ain't been able to say, man, and he need to just say it.
And Tav, and we don't need to be so, he watches porn. Statistically, 98% of men have watched porn before.
Yeah, so are they saying
y'all judging him for watching porn, bro? You watch porn. You watched it. What are you talking about? Like,
but that's what I'm saying though. If that's true, it's the 2% that don't watch it, the pastors. Because that's crazy. Are pastors supposed to be exempt from watching porn?
The 2% that have never laid eyes on porn, they're either lying, all right? It's some religious belief, so they're either lying.
Are they priests?
It's some religious belief. Nope.
Then priests. Come on, ain't no.
Or they don't have electronics. They don't have like internet access, TV, things of that nature. Like they don't have.
So they was born when the caveman was, because who don't got a fucking electronic these days?
You gotta think about it. You could be Amish. You could be Amish and not have any of those things.
Never, yeah.
There's still a lot of Amish communities in the world.
I think but yeah, I think it goes back to what Dewan was getting at, though. Depending on the couple and their relationships and the conversations they have, or the lack of conversations they have, you then spiral into these situations like, oh, now they're speaking on their bedroom talk. Is it a problem, or is there not a problem? Because people don't have a conversation. But then
people don't have a conversation. That's it. But here's the thing. Y'all brought up something important, like Jeff brought up and P, and y'all all talked about like what's his needs getting met, right? But here's the thing. Just because I'm having sex doesn't necessarily mean my needs are met, right? There's this test. You guys can Google it, listeners, viewers. that you should take with your partner is called a kink test.
Hmm?
What's your kink, right? What are you into? And when people say kink, they think of like BDSM. That's not necessarily what I mean, but kink is like surprise, being caught off guard. You know, you may have you know, your partner may want you to pull her hair or choke her a little bit. She may, you know, be into
now you're going down
post it for the people then. The ones
I'll post
it. That's the shit.
Yeah, I'll post the kink test. I'll put it in our comments, and then I'll post it at the end. But
it's different from love language. Make sure you say that it's different from your love language.
It don't sound fair. He didn't need to say that. It don't sound like no damn love language. It sounds like people think do some shit. Ain't nothing about no love.
Nah, because some people. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Some people will be like, "Oh, the kink test, is that part of my love language?" No, it's not your love language. It's your physical. It's different. It's not your love language. It's something totally different.
Physical needs. Like, do you like to be surprised through sex? Do you like, you know, like spontaneous sex? Do you like to be tickled during sex? Like, what are your sexual needs? Now, people could have sex every day, but their sexual needs are not met because they're a little kinky, right? And the thing about relationships is, one person in that relationship is kinky, right? One of them is. They just they probably suppressed it, or they're not talking about it because they're either embarrassed or they feel like their partner is not going to engage in it. So they don't. So the reality is, Will and Jada are kinky. They be into shit. You feel me? They be into bringing people into their marriage and all that other stuff, threesomes, all that. That worked for them. So
he didn't sign up for August. He didn't sign up for August. He didn't sign up for that.
He didn't sign up for August. He was signed for August.
Hey, he should have told August.
He ain't signed up for that.
As soon as August talked to Angela Yee, he should have called August and just said, "You can't stop the rain." That's what he should have told her. Should have told her, man. You know what? I got something for you when I see you here. Sample this song. But no, on some real stuff though, we talking about him, and him. She did this. Like, what do we think from the female side of things?
Can't.
No, I mean, we could speculate it, right? I mean, what do we think? What we've seen this enough, right, to have an opinion about why we think these type of comments come from her. Why do we think these comments come from her? We could speculate from him from a man's standpoint, but what do we think is the reason she generated those?
No, I think she's the conduit of like them being open and honest. I think she's the person that's like okay with this kind of conversation because she got the red table talk. Like that's her show. So I think she's the person that's willing to be open and honest about whatever they got going on. And I think she's the person that always kind of brings stuff to the forefront, whether it be like her relationship with her mama, her relationship with the kids, whatever. She's always the person that's on the show that's talking about that stuff versus Will. Like Will come in here and there. Will don't be on there all the time. So it's really her that brings the conversations that they're having in their family to the table. So I feel like she's just a messenger in regards to this kind of stuff. So I don't know if that's just their roles in their household. And I don't think that's just a female trait in general, but I think for that particular family, she's the person that talks about that kind of stuff.
So do y'all think
she's the more bolder voice? She's the bolder voice.
Do you think that females are males? Who do you think is more likely in relationships to bring this forward? In boy and girl are in relationships in general.
I mean, just in general, when you're talking about, even if you're talking about therapy, the women gonna seek that first. Like dudes ain't coming on their own. They gotta be in mad crisis to come see me or the one.
But I'm talking about to have the conversation about sex. Do you think that that's more generated by the female saying, "Hey, we need to start doing this," or "I'm not pleased," or do you think men do? Because I think men have the breaking point quicker and don't say nothing. I don't know how women respond to that.
It's probably 60-40. I would probably say 60-40 men, right? 60% men, 40% women. And the reason I say that is I think so many women have been shamed when it comes to conversations about sex. So they may have these feelings and these views, but they don't talk about it, right? You got to think we're starting to get in this new era of women who feel comfortable talking about sex because you got the Nicki Minaj, Megan Stallions. You know, you got all those female rappers. They talk about giving fellatio and all that stuff. So now women are more comfortable making tutorials on video on Instagram and how to give head and all that because now women feel empowered to talk about how they feel sexually and things of that nature. You got to remember, in my field, majority of the sex therapists and sexologists are women, right? So a lot of the information we know about sex comes from women. But women may not be the people talking about it in their relationships just because of this, they don't want to be slut shamed or shamed in general. And men tend to have more of a sexual appetite than women, at least up until women get in their 40s. Because when women get in their 40s, then their sexual appetite tends to surpass men. But men are less likely to want to have sex, so they're bringing it up. But I do think there's a large percentage of women who bring up sex. Look, I have women in my office who talk about it all the time. The shit that they do, the shit that they won't do, all that. And you're starting to see women leave their husbands because their husbands won't have sex with them, right? And so I think we're getting to a point where women are starting to feel more empowered to talk about sex, but it's still in so many communities and areas, it's still a struggle for them.
Hey,
I mean,
I just looked at my watch. I just looked at my watch. He said 40. I got 3 years. It's about to go down over here, boy. You ain't gonna see me. It's going down in the town. I got 3 years. My wife gonna hit 40. Niggas going down.
Duh, man. Chop that clip. Hey, chop that clip up and play that on Monday.
I know, right?
Yeah, so it's I don't know. Like I think there's levels to it, right? It's levels to it. I think we all as men have had those conversations about, our relationships and things, and if we getting some, are we not getting enough, are we not getting it? We have those conversations, and I think sometimes those conversations help because you start to realize, you start to look around and like, oh, okay, same for you. Oh, so I'm not on an island by myself. I think the problem can be when you're talking to the wrong person, because you're gonna always have an ignorant friend like, oh, bro, you ain't getting none at home. Shit, you better go to the club, pull your meat out, and see who really, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, bro, I can't talk to you. You stupid. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have me risking it all.
Yeah, but you know what though? That's the other point of it all too, is that I think for people like Will and Jada, maybe they feel like when they're having these talks, they talking to the people like us, just people that they feel are other married people or in couples that they just want to give information to. But social media in the majority of the world is that ignorant ass friend. You know what I'm saying? This twisting the words, making this a bad thing, right? Like when I look at the stuff they talk about, I mean, I look at it 50-50. Sometimes I look at that stuff like, I wouldn't have said that on TV, but would I have said it to one of y'all? If applicable, maybe I would have had a conversation within my group. I don't know how comfortable I feel like going on TV. I do think that you got to have some level of protection for those that don't know, because either they're going to offend you or they're going to say something that's going to cause you to get defensive or to feel like you have to go on the offense about what's being said. So I think that's something to consider just with their platform. But maybe that's what it's all about. They know every once in a while, because Red Table Talks is probably happening every week. Maybe every once in a while they're like, hey, fuck it, we got to drop some clickbait. I'm about to say this shit. We're going to let them cut it up, and then we'll go from there. I mean, we don't know the real strategy to it.
I don't think it's clickbait. I just think they are secure in who they are. So
in the relationship,
when you're secure in who you are, you don't mind being vulnerable. You don't care if people have an opinion about what's working for you because it works for you. You know what I'm saying? I think our fear of being ridiculed, or our fear of being slut shamed, or our fear of somebody disagreeing with what we do keep us from having those conversations. I just think they're secure in who they are as people.
But when you say slut shame, are we saying the women? Because men, we get that pass. Yeah, we get that double standard pass. If I've been doing something all the time, it's like, it's all good. He's a dude. But if a woman speaks on it, yeah, there's that slut shame. So I think what's
changing. I think that's changing. I think men now, like,
yeah, but that's what I was about to say. It's changing now. Yeah, I think it's changing now because you're like, I don't need to speak on it, and women are like, I am speaking on it. And so that's where the change in the dynamic is happening, because women are finally being, like Dewan said, they're speaking up. And it's like, well, I guess women can do it now too, because people are starting to accept those roles, barriers being lessened, to be honest.
I think though too is that you got a lot of men these days that are businessmen, refined entrepreneurs, rock a suit when they got to do whatever they got to do, or things like that. And I think that a lot of that is causing men to be more refined in their conversations and how they say things, right? Like what you would say when you was young and coming up is probably more reckless than what you'll say now. When you have a brand and an image as a man, we're less likely to talk about that, where women have put themselves in a position to own it all. I'm gonna be a boss, I'm gonna be a leader, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And when nighttime, when these lights go down, I'm gonna break out these whips and chains and I'm gonna jump off the top of this rope too. You know what I'm saying? And they're comfortable talking about those are all the aspects of their life throughout their day leading up to the nighttime. As we get older and professional, I don't see us really. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, you know what? I'm out here on the police. I'm making 100,000 a night, and I'm about to put my wife through a headboard tonight. Like, I mean, it's just not. But back in the day, if I was getting that type of money and I didn't have nothing to lose, nothing to risk, I'd have been like, that's what I do. I mean, it's just, I think we get older, more professional, more refined, and it takes away from that just, I don't know, locker room talk type of persona.
But then at the same time, I think at the same time, there's been conversations where everything you just described is what men want. We want you to be that professional in your life, and then when you get home, bust it down. So some women are putting it out there like, I am that type of woman. I'm gonna get you some money and some bag, and then when I get to the house, it's gonna go down. And they're saying it out loud because some dudes is like, hey, if you want to get on this team, that's what I want to hear. So it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah, it do. You know what? Because there's somebody in my household go and get a little bag, and she come home at nighttime. She better, you know what I'm saying? Throw the alley-oop. Let me dunk. Just saying.
So we don't want to hear this shit, man.
I didn't say nothing. All I said is let me do. But watch, tomorrow I'm gonna be all in the video. No, man, I'm just saying.
I respect.
No, there's another one. There's another.
Go ahead, Pete.
No, go ahead.
Go, Pete.
Oh, I was going to say, we just posted another website that you can look at. Now, this one's a little different. It talks about intimacy and orgasms and actually finding how to tap into your partner's sexual talk. So it's a little more sensual. There's a couple of tests that you can take to actually nail down what kind of sexual intercourse or engagements you like. So it's just another way that people can have those discussions.
Well, don't Gwyneth Paltrow got that show on Netflix, and that's kind of what sparked the whole Jada thing anyways, is that she had Gwyneth Paltrow on. She's got this whole thing on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know nothing about it. I mean, I will catch it when I can. As we get closer to wintertime, we get more closer to Netflix and chilling time. So at some point, I'll catch up to it and see if it can help out. I think that's one thing too. As we get older, and I think we always looking for different moves to put in our arsenal, whether it be language wise, whether it be romance wise, whether it be sexual wise. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with any of that. And I think that's where all of that came from. So, I mean, check them things out. I know people do. I wonder why they're not catching the same flack, the Gwyneth Paltrow's and everything like that. Everybody's talking about sex.
I'm going to check the list, but I got a hater in the house. I got a 5-month-old around this joint. And this dude is a hater in the house, man. Girl,
hey, and it don't stop too. You know what? Let me ask y'all this.
My son's 7.
Hey, don't stop. Let me ask y'all this, bro. If maybe you don't do it all the time, right? But
I gotta sneak it, Tam. Hey, Tam, I gotta sneak it, man.
You gotta sneak it.
I gotta sneak it in.
But that'd be the best though, because you be learning different little places in the house that be like, oh, this a hiding spot. Somebody break in, I can shoot them and be smashing. I'm telling you, there's some benefits to that. I remember that. Let me tell you what this little chump just did, bro. My wife get her nails done. She normally asks me what color I want her to get or something like that and pick it. I've been going for a week. She say, oh, let me go to the nail shop while you home. All right, cool. I come back. She got a whole nother color. I say, man, who the fuck is he? She's like, what are you talking about? Who is this thing that didn't pick these nails? Oh, your son said that. I'm gonna beat him up. They don't stop hating, bro. They start thinking they run. Hey, when I catch him and she not home, I'm gonna push his ass down the top of the stairs. You gotta learn, bro. I'm not competing with him.
It's funny though, because your kids, they gonna catch you one day, right?
No, they not.
Hey, bro,
you been caught?
Catch you.
You got caught,
bro. They gonna catch you.
Right? Speak on it, man.
Hey, huh?
Was it bad?
Hey, my wife gonna slap the shit out of me when she watch this episode. But yeah, bro,
you got caught real bad.
Yeah, I mean, he was half asleep, right? So we walked in. We caught ourselves, going to a different place in the house, bruh. Woke up half asleep. He come in there.
Came to find y'all?
Huh?
And came to find y'all?
Ass up. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's situations like that where it happens and you like, damn, this dude a hater, right? Because it stops the whole momentum. Everything stops. Everything shuts down. You feel me? Like everything shuts down. I mean, again, you know, it didn't register. He probably had no idea what was going on. I think he probably was like 4 at the time. You know what I'm saying? But he was half asleep, so he was doing the whole little trying to wake up thing. And I heard him before he hit the corner, right? So it, you know, it worked itself out, but it's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Traumatizing. Maybe that's where you start having these honest and open conversations about sex when these punk ass kids be trying to catch you. Then you gotta decide if you're gonna tell the truth or if you're gonna be hiding who you are.
Hey, tell the truth. But you better tell the truth.
That's a whole nother discussion, right? Because we kind of talk about this, like, when is that time to have that conversation with your kid about what sex is? Now, when we were younger, there wasn't sexuality on cable TV in the same way it was. You didn't see it, but now we're seeing it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be watching TV and see somebody's ass. You'll be watching,
especially if you're watching FX.
See the covers, you know, adults, you know, kids are starting to be, when I was younger, the movie Boomerang was like watching a porn. Y'all remember Boomerang?
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, because I remember my dad watching cover my eyes like watching Mo Better Blues.
Yeah, make you cover your eyes.
Yeah. Mo Better Blues, like, you know what I'm saying?
So it's tricky because, you know, at some point we have to be able to have these conversations with our kids, but what's too young, what's too old, things of that nature. We know that kids are getting caught doing sexual acts in school at a lot younger age. You know what I'm saying? You have
this guy can tell us that one. Look at
that. Point at me.
Yeah. What did parents do?
Yeah, what I do?
You got an 18-year-old. Did you do it? You got 18-year-old.
Oh, I got an 18-year-old. We had the conversation real early. I mean, because now, you know, sex ed is in schools. They tell students, they tell kids stuff early. So, I mean, as soon as that man hit like 6, he was like, I want to say he was like 4 or 5. And him and his mother and I was still together at that time. And he must have got up early for breakfast and caught more than he needed to. And so at that point, it was like, hey, this is how you got here. And this is the conversation that we had, because he saw, and then he also started to look at himself like, oh. And so now you have to have that conversation because things are starting to make sense. Like, okay.
So he's like, this where that go.
You see what I'm saying? He was like, oh,
wait. Y'all don't lock no doors in y'all house no more? All of this shit y'all got caught doing is let's do it on the kitchen stove type shit at 7 o'clock. He ain't gonna wake up before the bacon done. Clearly, these motherfuckers wake up before the bacon is done.
Bro, you said it, Tab. They're haters.
Hater in the house. I said it.
It happens. You had that conversation when it's time to have a conversation.
If I catch you hating on me when I get back, I'm gonna beat his ass.
Hey, you see Paris didn't say nothing when he said he got caught. I know that's his old relationship, but he ain't say nothing. He said people get caught.
You know it's tonight, right? You think, okay, I'm about to make some love to my wife tonight, right? You know the mood is right, everything's good, we didn't have fun, and your kid come and now they sick, their stomach hurt, they got a headache, right? They got a headache. So now she about to go take care of this fool, and it's like, well, shit. So, like you said, our kids are haters, bro. And
that's cheating. That's an affair. If you do that shit to me, I'm gonna say, "Oh, you cheating."
Look, you gonna say, "Oh no, you can't go. You can't go take care of his headache. You gotta take care of me first." That's what you gotta say.
For real.
You got the selfish hat on. That's that selfish hat on.
Hey man, put some Robitussin on it. It'll be all right.
Hey, and for you people who's about to be extra serious, Taff is not gonna push his kid down the stairs. He's saying that he's being funny, right?
Oh yeah, you gotta clean it up for me because I be doing that Ocho shit, and you know how Brandon had to clean up. He was talking about coke. Clean it up for me because you know they want me. They probably
pushing his kid.
Yeah, clean it up for me because you know they still be probably trying to fire me at work for stupid shit.
You definitely wild card, bro.
You know, I'm sure they're trying to get me for anything they can right now.
That's the conversation we had last Braspective about. You can't be funny no more. You can't say nothing. Everybody gonna take what you say serious.
Right.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's part of growth, man. Shoot, if your kid don't catch you must have been great at hiding what you guys have going on in relationship because your kids see everything. Like your kids see everything, and even if you're like they don't know, They know.
They
So
know.
you might as well just get it out there right now and have a conversation.
So that's
They
the
know.
first person that need to get brought into your bedroom is your kids.
Man, I mean, why not? They're gonna have to learn it somewhere. Might as well learn it at home.
Nah, P.
Baby gate.
I ain't telling my kids shit. You tripping.
You ain't-
Baby
you
gate.
gonna come home like, so Dad, I figured it out. And you're gonna be like, all right, what'd you figure out?
Nah, I'm gonna make my son. I'm gonna make his ass wrap bells around his ankles so I can hear his ass coming down the hallway. You hear the bells, right? You hear the bells like Omar coming. Omar.
Hilarious.
Funny, man.
That's good.
That's what's up, man. You know, this was again another great conversation, man. Because I think that it's important, right? Now, to a certain degree, at least two out of four of us, our wives gonna say something to us about what we talked about on here today, right? Yours. Look. Our wives gonna have some words for us, right? But the reality is, shit. You know, you got to be comfortable in your relationships to talk about your relationships, and sometimes you're talking about the sexual parts of your relationship. Shit, you would hope that you're in a relationship and you're able to get. Look, sex is a need. It's not a want. It's on Maslow's. Look up Maslow's hierarchy of needs and see where sex is. Right.
Sex is high, right?
Sex is right under. You got to have above food,
Right under
water, shelter. And your ass got relationships and intimacy. It's in there. Sex is important. Our bodies produce oxytocin and endorphins when we have sex. Those are happy hormones. It makes us feel better naturally, right? So we can't be afraid to have those conversations. That's why a lot of women out there needs aren't getting met because they're not having conversations with us men about what we need to be doing. You know what I mean? And so
I like how he did that too, because you know I ain't know that science shit. He said oxytocin. I was gonna say I don't know oxycodone. That's why you smart niggas on this show, bro. That's why we gotta have. That's why I got educated friends, bro, to keep shit right around here. I was gonna say, damn, I can't even pee testing at work. Then they gonna say I got too much oxytocin. Bro, shout out to your smart friends in the world, man. You're never gonna be broke.
Oh man. The one's onto something. In very high, stressful places, you find people want to still be intimate. You know what I'm saying? You get a male and a female alone in very stressful situations. They still be like, I'm interested in having some sex right now. Like, man, y'all naked and alone in the middle of nowhere, but we still gonna get it in for about, you know what I'm saying? Sex is very high and needed in a relationship. So it makes a lot of sense why
it's a form of safety. You feel secure. Y'all remember that movie with Idris Elba and him and that white lady? They was in that plane crash. You know, I forgot what it was called, Survival, something like that. They end up, you know, just a stranger. They in the plane crash. They survive.
Oh, he taking it through the snow.
What they do?
Like it's a natural instinct to be connected to people in that way. And when you get to touching on somebody and things of that, you know, it happens, right? You know, the people who probably, you know, aren't having sex are the people who ain't touching. They never touch. Like they sleep in separate beds, or they got a big ass giant bed where they don't get to touch, because when your body starts touching another person, you do become naturally aroused in various different ways, at least if it's a person you feel safe with. And so, you know, and we have our needs met. You know what I mean? Needs have to be met. Sex is a need. It's not a want, it's a need. So if you're depriving your spouse of sex, that is a form of abuse. Right? No, it really is. Like we start to relate it as a form of it's a form of privilege that you're abusing in your relationship. You're depriving your partner of a need, not a want, a need, and then you get upset when they go and get that need met by someone else. And that's a whole, again, another discussion, because
that's
we have to get in a world where we can talk about it more.
That's that holding out, bro. That's that holding out.
Holding out, bro. Hey, don't be holding out.
Holding out.
No sleeping on the couch. Can't be sleeping on the couch.
No sleeping on the couch, bro. I ain't sleeping on the couch. I'm getting in my bed.
I'm sleeping on the couch. Never over with. I got a bad back and neck. I'm for sure not gonna wake up like I've been playing fucking Twister all night, not unless I'm playing Twister. Shit.
We playing naked Twister.
I'm gonna have to pray. I gotta pray for this dude, man. I pray for him, but I gotta add like to get the rest.
Extra prayer, special prayer.
Hey, when I'm on stage, if I'm on stage busting jokes with y'all, life is good, man. Life
is good. This is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying, Tav?
You see all this shit I done said? I ain't gonna get in no trouble. I'm gonna get in some trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Are you getting into good trouble? You in good trouble?
Get in some trouble.
You talking about some good trouble?
Hell yeah, that real good trouble, man. That's what I'm looking for. Detention. Put me on punishment.
Put me on punishment. Hey, well, before we jump off, what y'all got to say to these people?
Well, I guess I'll start it off and say, man, take care of yourself as well as the ones that you love. I'll leave it right there. It's important right now.
Shoot, tune in, like, subscribe, dislike, comment, all of that. We like the dislikes too. Just say why you dislike it.
Yeah, with your hating asses.
I mean, you know, it's all good. All that. Be a good human. That's all I can ask for. That's all I always say. And tune in a couple weeks, man. We're going to try to get it in right before the holiday. I think we're going to talk about the holiday season and what that's like. You know what I'm saying? Because that's tough on people sometimes. But we might not. I don't know what the topic might be, but we might. But yeah, much love from Braspective.
Man, we all having fun, but you know, decide what you got, what's best for your relationship. Keep them people out your shit if it ain't going to go good for you, if you don't feel comfortable. And if you are, just make sure you're talking to the people that you share in your beds with, getting aroused from. Make sure you letting your oxytocins out so you ain't on no oxycodone, man. That's what I learned tonight. So, you know, like they said that shit. But make sure that you having good relationships with your partners. Be open, be honest, have fun, talk shit. Get loose, man. I mean, we all here joking and stuff like that. And you know what? It's all going to lead to a little bit of shit talking and a whole bunch of loving, man. We know what we doing here, and we advise everybody else go have fun with their partners too.
Yeah, love your partner, man. Don't be ashamed to talk about, you know, the joys of your relationships, even the struggles of relationship, right? Because you can't grow if you don't know, right? So I think conversations is key and important. And I mean, I'm not mad at Will and Jada. You know what I'm saying? They made it 25 years. You know what I'm saying? They are successful. Their kids seem to be successful. So obviously, whatever they're doing in their relationship is working. And people need to pay more attention to the relationships that are working instead of getting these advice and feedback from people who ain't working, right? And that's the thing. You got to be mindful, man, of who the messenger is. You know, like, subscribe, watch us, share with a friend, share the message. You know what I'm saying? It's just us having a conversation. These ain't scripted. We just talking like we talk by ourselves in our chat rooms together. And we decided to bring it here for y'all. So again, this is Male Perspectives. We talk about sex, relationships, and is your business in the streets or not. Tune in, like, subscribe, dislike. We like the feedback. So if you don't like us, tell us why. We may not care to change. But we do
probably want to talk about it. Like, word, okay.
We do care to listen. So,
yeah, we don't care if you do. I know I'd be saying I'm gonna beat people ass and stuff, but if you thumbs down us or don't like it, it's all right. I'll talk about it.
I want to know why.
I'm a good communicator, but despite these rough edges and stuff like that. But
I do want to ask this though. If y'all can put in the comments, is it cool to like dye your beard or not? I just want to know. I just want to know. I'm just trying to figure out.